Hello everyone, welcome to Magical Me. I'm Jamie Mendez, spiritual intuitive and oracle, and I'm here with my weekly Moonday message. So this is going to be a message for the highest and greatest good of the collective for the week of March 29th, 2021. So I'm just going to take a moment here and just re-plug in my microphone since it's been a little funny the last few weeks. There we go. Just make sure that it is working okay and everything, and the sound is okay. So I'm just going to give it a few moments, let people see that I'm live and connect so I can just check in on the quality of sound. So just bear with me for a few moments. And then I'm going to explain, for anybody who's new to Moonday, I'll be explaining what you can expect to find here, okay? Just want to make sure that I'm able to see comments and everything as well. So if you are tuning in, if you could just say hello, send a comment. This way I can make sure I'm able to see them on my end and that there's no glitching going on, because that is also something that's been happening quite a bit lately. There we go. Hi, Laura. Hello, beautiful lady. Welcome and thanks for being here. How is the quality of sound for you? Does it sound a little echoey or distant, or does it sound nice and clear? Hey, Angela, Shelley. Welcome, beautiful ladies. Oh, thank you, Angela. Good. Hey, Julie. Welcome, lovely. Long time no see. Glad you were able to pop in. All right, so now I know it's working. I'm just going to go ahead and share this really quickly. So just hang tight for 1 second, everyone. And how are you? Those of you popping in, how are you doing? It's been quite an interesting weekend, huh? Okay, I can never get scrolling here. Hey, Dawn. Welcome, beautiful. So happy that you could make it. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. And done. Exhausted. Yeah, it's been a real interesting weekend. And Laura, you and I kind of briefly discussed some of the major happenings going on this weekend for all of us that we can, I'll definitely be discussing here. Let's see if I missed anything. Hey, Cindy. Yeah, you made it. I'm so happy you were able to. Yes, this is going to be the new time for now on, at least as long as I am able to. As you know, everything is in divine timing and alignment. All right. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. All right. Lena, love. How you doing, hon? Tell Bella and your mom and everybody I say hello. Dawn says, I missed you last week and still haven't had time to see the replay. Oh, well, you know, divine timing, my dear. There's always a reason for everything, right? And, you know, replay is there. So, you know, if you feel called to get it, wonderful. If not, moving right on, aren't we? All right. So, for those of you who are new, I'll just do a really brief rundown of what you can expect here. So every Monday around this time, I try to be here live to come forward with a message of higher guidance and insight for us all. This is messages for the collective, and so these are more of a generalized overview of information that comes forward, what we most need for the energy of the week. And they're not individual, private or personal readings that I'm doing here today. Again, it's for all of us as one. I do set the intention that everybody who is meant to hear this message or receive this message does find themselves here in divine timing. So it does not matter if you're watching this live or on the replay, even months from now, you're here exactly when you need to be, when the message is going to resonate with you most. And again, these messages really apply uniquely to your own individual journey. So it will kind of take a different meaning for everybody, all right? And then there's going to be some people that maybe this message just does not resonate with at all, and that is okay. The way that this works is you take what resonates with you and you discard the rest, as everything is really about you honoring your own truth and what it is that, again, most resonates with you and for your own soul's journey. Hey, Rose Maria. Welcome, beautiful. I'm so happy you were able to make it. And Eleanor, welcome. Thanks for being here. So again, I do set the intention that you watch whenever it is that you are in most need of receiving this message. It is a message specifically for this week, but again, it does not matter when you're watching it. Usually how it works is I will go into talking first about news and announcements and anything that I have going on here at Magical Me or over at my sister business, Oracles of the Light. However, today we're going to be skipping news and announcements because I have quite a jam-packed energy forecast, which is what I like to talk about next. And that's just a way for me to discuss what I have been intuitively feeling or receiving regarding messages, dreams, etc., for what will apply to all of us or what might help you going through the energy of the week. Sometimes I like to use that opportunity to talk about any astrological events, anything major going on that's specifically going to impact us, okay? With that said, I also then move into the Moonday portion, which is me pulling an oracle card for that guidance, setting the intention for the highest and greatest good, and then asking what it is that we almost need to know for the energy of the week. And it's just a way to give us that heads up, insight, and awareness. Now, again, I just set that intention to receive whatever it is that we most need to know that will help us best flow harmoniously through the energy versus being blind and just really not having any sort of heads up or awareness whatsoever, which can then make things incredibly challenging. I do pull the oracle card. Usually it's one, depending, maybe more come out with that, but I do then use my own intuitive abilities to interpret that message. Afterwards, I usually then pull a mudra for us all to work with together, which is a way for us to better embrace the energy of the information coming through. It allows us to facilitate the healing or the growth. But today I'm actually not going to be pulling a mudra because I have a special treat for us all. Considering what I'm going to be discussing with the empathy forecast or energy forecast, it's really important for us to receive. And now I'm going to pull a mudra even after the live is done and still post it so we have it. But I did receive a message from my higher self that I was being guided to bring forward a light language transmission today, a light code that is going to basically better enable us to adjust and integrate the high frequency changes and energy that has been rolling in since the end of last week. All right, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Hey, Jillian. Welcome, Monielle. Glad you could make it. Thanks for being here. All right, so with that said, let me take a breath because there's just, there is so much going on and I really just need to kind of like figure out a really good place that I want to start with this. So, all right, so the empathy forecast. Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to start out by saying that, hi, Missy. Welcome. Thanks for being here. So I was just saying that we have a really special treat today instead of the mudra, which I'll still pull after the reading is done. I'll post it on my page. We're going to be doing a light language transmission today at the end. So you want to hang tight for that. And I'm going to talk about why we're doing the light language transmission today right now. So with that said, I'm going to start out by talking about a week and a half ago, I started noticing something really strange happening to my lips. Okay, you might still notice they're looking a little interesting right now, very pink, right? They're very inflamed. So about a week and a half ago, I tried a new product for my face, and it specifically said, do not get this on your lips or your eyes. And as soon as I saw that, I said to myself, oh, great, Jamie, I wish you didn't read that, because knowing you, when I try not to do something, it's like wearing white. You try not to get anything on it, but as soon as you think about not getting anything on it, you get something on it, right? That's me. That's my life. So as soon as I tried not to think about it, what did I do? But I touched the very corner of my lip with the product. And, instead of just getting a paper towel and making sure that I really didn't wipe it further on my lips, I just kind of went like this and just wiped it off. It barely touched me. It was barely there. Within a day or so after that, I noticed that that part of my lip actually started peeling, and it actually felt really raw. And there's a whole method to my madness why I'm talking about this, so just bear with me, okay? We're going to really go into a whole lot of stuff. I started noticing it started getting really dry and really cracked right there at that area, and it started peeling a lot. So I just, did my best to moisturize and make sure I kept maintaining it. And I thought that I must have gotten a little bit of chemical burn, considering what I read. I feel like that might have been the initial trigger for this. However, little by little, my entire lips just started completely drying out. So I don't know if it's partially an allergic reaction, but again, everything has a spiritual component and a metaphysical aspect to it versus solely just the physical, even if it was something that we triggered, right? So it started getting, they just started getting really dry, like very scaly, and then they just kept peeling. And I've never had that happen before. And then new skin, like they would peel multiple times and grow new skin multiple times within the same day. And I'm sorry if this is like kind of TMI for anybody, if it grosses you out, but I try to keep it as real as possible, and it applies to what we're going through. So it would just keep doing the same thing, and it just wouldn't stop this process. And I kept saying it was like, the flaking reminded me, I kept having visions of snake skin when a snake sheds its skin, how it gets very like flaky and just kind of just keeps falling off and like flying, kind of like just like fluttering away. That's what I was getting with what was going on with my lips. And I thought, well, this is really unusual. So needless to say, I kept putting the wrong stuff on it too at the same time. So I'm sure that didn't help. The wrong sort of moisturizers with mint and things that you're not supposed to use. But anyway, I kind of put that off, Then I'll say Friday night. Hello, Flo and Laura and Bridget and Carmela. Welcome. Anybody that I missed, I'm so sorry. I will get through every comment and go back and check who is here tuning in that I may have missed once I get through this very long-winded but very important story, multiple stories. That Friday night, I had a dream. Was it Friday night? I think it was Friday night that I had a dream. It was either Thursday night or Friday night. I had a dream that I was being shown an egg. And the egg, now this is very interesting because the egg is very symbolic. It's very important symbolic for, I refer to it as the cosmic egg. It is symbolic for the cosmic egg, which is the womb of the Divine Mother, the divine creation energy itself, if you will. And I was being shown that I was using, with someone else that was either teaching me or working with me, to use this really high frequency light to channel it directly into, it was like golden white light being channeled directly into the egg. And sure enough, the egg cracked open and left two halves. But when it did that, the yolk actually kind of just poured out and penetrated down into the earth. And I thought that was very fascinating. In my dream, I was very lucid, having this epiphany. I was kind of talking to myself, rationalizing it or breaking it down symbolically while I was asleep. And I was telling myself how it was very much symbolic of recently I had placed I've been doing some work, and especially with this time of year with spring and the energy of rebirth, I had recently placed in two different scenarios, saw an egg being placed within my womb space, right? My sacral chakra. And last year, I didn't get to do it this year, but last year I had actually done an activity where I had placed an egg with intention, not a hard-boiled egg. It was just a regular egg with intentions in it, and I had placed it down into Mother Earth, and I knew that once that egg would break, then all of the intentions and the magic were ready to be born. So it's very symbolic to the cosmic egg, which is again the womb and the egg of creation. It's also very much about divine unity because of the fact that the white represents I believe the white represents the masculine energy and the yellow representing the feminine, or might be backwards. I tend to do that. Sometimes it's like a form of dyslexia or something. I do that a lot where it might be backwards. But either or, it represented unity, and then the oak actually being the seed of life, which is necessary to create everything. It's what's being created. So very interesting. In my mind, I knew in the dream that I was being shown the cosmic egg just broke. And it was almost like the water broke, going into labor. Now life is being, new life is being created. That made me feel like life is being created on the planet, right? Flash forward, on Saturday morning, I taught I should probably still stay with Friday. Saturday morning, I was supposed to teach a Reiki 1 class. And Friday night, a few of my students actually reached out to me with some very interesting revelations. Okay, so yes, it was Thursday night, I'm sorry, that I had my cosmic egg dream. Friday comes, the night before class, and one of my students reaches out to me about asking about their, they are someone who actually suffers from eczema. Pay attention to the skin, right? So someone who suffers from eczema, and they had a severe, sudden, onset of their eczema, where their hands being completely inflamed, being very, completely inflamed, being very, uncomfortable, not very pretty, if that was going to be an issue for class. And, said, no, all the more reason why Reiki would actually really help that. Flip that around, then later on, same person actually experienced a sudden, they had like a swollen lymph node, suddenly had to go to the emergency room. This is all Friday night still. Had to go to the emergency room and had internal bleeding, and had to have emergency surgery, and sadly was unable to attend Reiki class. So now one of my other students actually messages me first thing Saturday morning. The night before, Friday, they had sudden leak in their basement. All right, so I don't know if it was like a pipe leak, a pipe burst or something, but sudden leaking in their basement. So they were running behind in the morning. They were up all night digging, trying to find the leak, right? So, hey love, hey Teresa, welcome. So there is now you're seeing the symbolism here. Okay, so we got 2 messages about skin. We've got another message. We have 2 messages about leaking or drainage. 3 actually, if you consider the cosmic egg, right? Hey Lucy, welcome, gorgeous sister. Thanks for being here. So now we have 3 messages about the leaking. Now you go to the fact that where the pipes were leaking, right, was a basement. Basement symbolically represents our foundation, right? So like the ground level, if you will. All right. Hang with me with all of this. So I definitely noticed, now we are the eve before we're Saturday, the day before the full moon in Libra, which that full moon in Libra is about completion. So it's all this stuff that would be coming up. It's in the sign of Libra, which is the scales of balance. So it's bringing up all of this stuff that is ready to be really fully released, as that Libra full moon was a time of, or is a time, because we're still really in that window, is a time of massive balancing of the karmic scales, and bringing about the completion or karmic cycles full circle. So everything coming around in justice, right? So everything's being balanced out. Everything's being triggered for release. All right. So Saturday rolls along, and during the attunement process, one of my students actually tells me during the attunement, one of the experiences was that they started seeing a lot of red, right? Color red immediately associates with root chakra, right? It's our foundation, our physical presence on earth, right? Our physical connection to the earth. Start seeing a lot of red, but then they also were shown a flash of what looked like a men's bathroom sign. So it's like representing males, right? Male energy. Now, I mean, I want to make sure that this is clarified, that it's more about the masculine, not men or males. Okay. Just want to make sure. We're going to go into all of this though. I got to give you all this information first. So they go into seeing this whole, like a flash of like, a male's bathroom sign, right? Masculine bathroom sign, the red color. And then suddenly tell me that they started actually feeling, in their, in their heart, they started feeling, anxiety, and like severe anxiety, and started feeling very discomfort, a lot of discomfort there. But then all of a sudden they just saw this beautiful pure white light come in, and everything kind of subsided, right? With all of that, I was becoming very aware that there was definitely a big theme going on of a root chakra purge. I wasn't fully sure how big it was until the night of. So Saturday night comes along. I have yet another dream. Now this is the night of Saturday moving into Sunday for the full moon. I have another dream. And this time the dream is about root chakra and boundaries being violated. Okay. And boundaries, we connect into our physical, again, our physical body, our physical boundaries. Root chakra also connects into our fear, the ability to feel safe, protected, and stable, right? So now moving into this whole, I was seeing like this boundaries being violated. And then I was shown myself standing up and just throwing a temper tantrum about my physical boundaries being violated, right? Now, again, very symbolic here. And especially regarding, again, there was a message about the root chakra. And then there was another message that came through that referenced and was teaching me about Chinese medicine in the dream. And it was showing me about the temperature of our bodies. And it was showing me about the temperature of our bodies being too hot, having too much heat. And that's what there was another person there with me that was actually showing me about the Chinese medicine, and showing me that this over and over again, they just kept saying there's too much heat. There's too much heat. It's too hot. The vision transformed, and it went into me with a newborn baby boy. And it wasn't my baby, but I felt like in the dream I was babysitting, and I was holding this newborn baby, and he had a diaper on, but he just kept having diarrhea. And so now there's a root chakra purge, right? Root chakra purge. So he just kept having diarrhea. So I had to change his diaper so many times, whereas finally I just left the diaper off, and I was like, all right, if you're just going to go, you're just going to go. I'm tired of changing this diaper. So I'm holding the baby, and the baby I start like kind of like bouncing with the baby a little bit, and he just keeps smiling and laughing over and over and over again. So let's go into all of that and what that interprets to. So what I received in reflection of all of this was that we as a collective did receive a massive upgrade to our root chakras through the end of last week and throughout the weekend. So it was kind of happening in waves there. We did receive a massive upgrade, but at the same time, this upgrade was going to have us experience some purging, right? And some different it would trigger different emotions within us and reactions. So why we are having this is that this upgrade specifically focuses on the distorted masculine. So when I was hearing that message about having too much heat in our body, in Chinese medicine, they focus on the yin and the yang, and the yang is the fire energy. And when you have too much fire energy in any part of your body, or too much water energy in any part of your body, it just creates that imbalance, right? I have Anubis going nuts downstairs at the same time. So when you have, so now also the fire, the yang is also connected to the masculine energy. So now this is bringing awareness into the upgrade of our root chakra, which is specifically focused around our inner masculine polarity, our inner masculine energy. So this is nothing to do with just men. This is for men and women across the board. This is collectively, this upgrade came in. So remember the first stream where I was showing high frequencies of light being channeled directly into the cosmic womb. Okay, so picture us as having been in that cosmic egg, and that is what cracked open and was allowing that new life force to flow through. So as this was happening, I'm so sorry, I have no idea what is going on downstairs with these dogs. They probably see another dog. So interestingly, we are going to be talking about boundaries, territory. And that's what they're doing down there by being incredibly territorial right now because of other dogs walking in front of my house, God forbid. So I'm going to try to keep going through this without them interrupting me. I hope you're also following along so far. This is a lot of information. So showing that our masculine energy had too much heat, right? Too much masculine, which means that we have too much of the imbalanced, distorted masculine. So what's happening is this massive influx of light coming in to upgrade our root chakra, which is our stability, our foundation, right? And if you remember my student who during the attunement, she saw the red and then she saw the male sign from about, a male restroom sign. And then she started feeling anxiety. So what happens when our root chakra and our masculine energy is threatened? What happens is now we say threatened, but really essentially, this is for the highest and greatest good. But we have, because of adopting a distorted imbalance in our masculine sides and our masculine energy, we have adopted these harmful survival instincts, fight or flight. And that's exactly what came up when the root chakra was being highlighted for my client. And now with a Reiki attunement, this is really opening you up and rewiring you and just basically opening you up to become a vessel. So you do have to clear out and make room and let go of some stuff. So immediately she went into fight or flight, whereas she momentarily resisted the transformations. And what did it do? But it triggered anxiety within her chest or within her heart chakra or within her. Then you had this beautiful cooling energy of the white light and the purity of the white light come over her and just completely stabilize everything, right? And that's interesting about having too much heat in the body. What you would do in Chinese medicine is you would actually eat cooling foods or bring more cooling elements, more yin, into your body to balance out and stabilize that energy. So do you see where I'm going with this so far? So, for a lot of us, we may have noticed suddenly these scenarios play out where we may have felt a sudden occurrence or instance where we're feeling anxiety over the weekend. Or, you may be aware why it is, you may not be aware. There may be territorial issues that are coming up. There may be boundary issues that are coming up. So what happens? So with the newborn baby and it being a newborn baby boy, it's showing us that our inner masculine and the divine masculine on the planet is actually going through its rebirth. So it's being reborn. It's coming to a more happy, harmonious state, if that makes sense, more balanced state. And so it's being rebirthed into our consciousness and into us right now. Okay. So you could have experienced, like I said, in the dream, when my boundaries were being violated or threatened, I immediately went into a tantrum. I immediately started crying and acting out when in all actuality, this was for my highest good. It was for me to be able to, recognize what it was that wasn't serving me anymore, or what was going on where I had too much heat in my body. You know what I mean? So a lot of things that might be going on right now, you might be actually being triggered because that is our fight or flight. That is learned, programmed and survival instincts that have been adopted from a distorted masculine perspective and lifestyle that we have lived over the last, how many thousands of years here. So recognizing when these fight or flight behaviors come up, asking yourself, okay, so where do I feel like my stability is being threatened? And is it in all actuality really being threatened? Or is this an opportunity for me to expand and grow? A lot of our, things that we're carrying within us, a lot of our thought forms, our beliefs, a lot of them are becoming outdated because of the fact that they were part of the old paradigm. And so as we're shifting and being reborn into this new earth paradigm, it is asking us to shift in our awareness and in our perspective. Now that brings me to what happened today. Today, as I was actually connecting with my higher self and meditating, I was actually shown a vision of my my third eye, but it was like I was actually looking at it. So it was a third eye, and a lot of you may have seen this before with some of the Hindu gods and goddesses, where it actually took on, like, it looked like a tear in the skin on the third eye, and it was an elongated, almost like oval, so like sideways opening, and then the eye was sideways looking back at me. Then within the eye, I actually suddenly saw the planet Saturn, and now Saturn looked horizontal to me when I saw it. Suddenly, Saturn actually began to transform and started morphing and moving sideways and vertical so that it was fitting right inside the third eye. So now what does that mean? Now, I associate the planet Saturn with the root chakra. Some people do not. Some people associate it with many different chakras, and there's a good reason for that. And the reason, especially some people actually associate it with the third eye chakra. The reason for that is that the planets are not static. The planets actually move. And there are times where different chakras need different planetary frequencies and energy. And especially if you think back to like our natal charts, everybody has the planets in different locations in different houses. So, and sometimes we need different planetary healing at different places in our body, right? So I associate Saturn with the root chakra, and that is, again, our stability, our fear. I also associate the root chakra with skin, okay? Now, Saturn is also connected to karma, old karmic cycles and patterning, right? So it's kind of what we're clearing with this Libra full moon here, is all coming back to balance, coming back into alignment. And also associate Saturn with more so like contraction, so like kind of putting the pressure on and squeezing until something actually has no choice but to kind of like break free. It's kind of like when we were putting the pressure in the dream on the egg, it eventually cracked in half and opened, and that's how the magic happens, right? We crack open is when we can let the light in, right? So I associate the root chakra also with skin, and so anytime that someone's suffering like a skin issue, I will often ask, like, what else is going on in their life? How are they feeling? Is there some issues going on surrounding fear, not feeling stable? Is there a threat to their environment? What is going on? And so interestingly enough, with, the root chakra connecting to skin, the skin of the serpent-like constant reshedding and shedding the outdated skin no longer needed. My other student who was unfortunately unable to attend the class, suffering from a sudden severe flare-up of eczema. And so eczema is about also like dry skin kind of flaking off at the same time, very similar with psoriasis. Now, where I'm going with this is, at the end of one's life, oftentimes people will develop what is, I forget the name of it. It's an ulcer. It starts with a K. It's a name. I don't know if it's like a Kennedy. I think it's called Kennedy ulcer. And some of you who work in the health field, you'll know about this. At the end of life, when you're ready to move, and it doesn't happen for everybody, but for the majority of people, when you're moving into the end of days there for yourself and you're moving into the end of your life, you will develop what is called a Kennedy ulcer. This ulcer actually it transforms into the shape or into the form of your skin actually beginning to break, crack, and decay. And so it's preparing the body and the skin for the departure of life. So it's about the decay and the death process there, and preparing you for your body, for your soul to actually transcend its shell. All right. So now look at what's happening with the skin, with the lips, and with this eczema. That is part of a process of death. So an ending or a death of the old so that the birth of the new can happen. And that's really what is happening to all of us. Now take into consideration also the third eye that I saw open up like that. And here's exactly what it looked like. Okay. What I saw with the third eye and Saturn moving into, so the Saturn, being connected into the root chakra, moving into the third eye chakra, and the way that it was rotating actually made me feel like we were also having a third eye chakra expansion and how do I want to word this? Ascending into or being altered into a higher plane of consciousness. So root chakra is the first thing that had to happen because that is our physical connection to the physical matrix, right? To the earth matrix. So we were having that massive light activation, which triggered our fight or flight, which triggered our purges so that we can begin to let go and transcend the physical density of this physical reality and timeline to be able to ascend to a higher timeline and a higher plane of existence. So if you have been experiencing anything of the like, again, we've got the burst pipes, we've got the internal bleeding, we've got too much heat in the body, which is again showing us too much masculine, too much distorted masculine energy, and that whole rebirthing. If you've been experiencing any skin issues, any diarrhea, anything to do with the root chakra there, you can now see how this could be one part of the detox that's happening, but this could also be part of the your resistance. So if you're feeling anything like the anxiety, which my daughter actually messaged me late last night saying, I've been having a lot of anxiety, Mom, could you really get me in and schedule me for a session with you and Karen because I'm having a lot of anxiety, a lot of, should say not serving thought patterns as well were suddenly coming up for her. So again, a lot of these behaviors that you might have been experiencing these past few days could be connected into your resistance to releasing, to letting go of one way of life and to be able to transcend. So why I'm doing the light transmission today is that I was actually told that some people were struggling more than others with being able to transcend and let go. So not only that, but the integration of that high frequency light that actually came in. Some people were struggling with it. So what this is going to do is just ease that energy in and help to integrate it, and then help with that ascension process, helps you to kind of shed the old layers for that rising into the new, the rebirth, everyone, of our inner masculine. So this is amazing because this is exactly where we have been working toward for, and I'm not saying it's going to be overnight, that it's just a once and a done thing, but this is a major one. This is really big for me to be shown with the cosmic egg, for that to be happening. There was another part that I didn't really go over. It was kind of, don't want to get too much, away from everything, but I will just say I was shown another part having to do with the 7 keys and the 7 keys that it takes in order to create a portal of transformation. And on the 8th one creates a whole new octave, which is a ascended aspect of a past of the first octave, if that makes sense. So we are ascending timelines. We are ascending our consciousness, our old outdated consciousness. And again, that's going to, it's also affecting our root, which is where we're rooted into, so that we can rise up into, and rise up, it's just the best way that I can explain that. It's not mean higher or lower really, but it's just transcending those limiting cycles and patterns, okay? So I hope that all of that makes sense to everybody. I know that it was a lot to follow along with. Please, by all means, go back and listen to the replay if you have to listen to it again. So yeah. Share away too if you have any similar experiences. Rosemaria says, I was just talking to my daughter about opening her third eye a little more. Well then, very interesting. So it looks like, it's happening on a collective level for all of us. I had a client healing session this morning as well, and this was specifically one of the areas of focus, the third eye being expanded. I actually had the presence of Babaji and Yeshua show up for me this morning, which was really helping us to come into acceptance within our heart space, to really be able to kind of come to that place of forgiveness and healing. Babaji works with expansion on a soul level and on a consciousness level. And so forgiveness is the pathway to ascension, really being able to come into that place of letting go. And a lot of the survival instincts we have developed for ourselves they do stem from wounded and trauma patterns that we've had or we've experienced at some point in our life, whether it's this one or just inherited ancestrally as a species. So beginning to let go and recognize the outdated survival behaviors and patterns that we use to kind of pacify ourselves and just kind of keep ourselves from feeling, to really fully be able to expand. Okay, there they go again. These ones, I'll tell you. And of course, no one's downstairs. It just so happens to be that way every moon day. So, wow, Rosemaria, really? Well, no coincidence, my dear. So I would say that is your call to action, that Babaji may be reaching out to connect with you or work with you. So, and as I say all the time, always make sure that you're connecting into the divine essence of so-and-so or the highest aspect of so-and-so, just to ensure you're always getting exactly who it is that you're calling in, okay? Let's see. Hey, Karen. Oh, no worries, love. Everything's going to be on that replay for you. Thank you for popping in and being here. Hi, Joni. Thank you for being here. Rosemary says, I also do have too much masculine energy these past few days and running hot. Wow. Okay, so look at that. So really kind of maybe trying on a subconscious level or some way to bring that awareness to you. I'm telling you, if I did not have that dream, I never would have put it together. The multiple dreams that I had was like a series of teachings. Couldn't have been better. Angela says, I was dreaming that I was breastfeeding a baby over the weekend. Wow, look at that. So nurturing, because, feeding is nurturing and providing the essential nutrients for something to grow. So your, fact that you saw a baby, whether it was masculine or feminine, doesn't really matter, because this could have been just you nurturing yourself as it's being reborn, just across the board. But also it could be very much about you nurturing your inner masculine as it goes through its period of rebirth as well. Okay. Interesting. Let's see if I missed any. Hey, Heather. Oh, not a problem, sweetheart. Hope all is well with the baby. All right. I think I got everything. If I missed your comment, just feel free to shoot me another one, because again, sometimes I don't see it. Yeah. Alex says hello to Oro. Are they triggering him? Does he hear them? Oh. All right. Well, sure. They also send their love and their regards, Alex. Okay. So yeah, so very interesting happenings going on, everybody. We are undergoing massive shifts, really transcending old consciousness. It's something we've been talking about for a while. You hear me talk about stuff like this all the time, but this really feels like this is like, go. It's happening now, okay? So again, sit tight till the end. We will be doing the light transmission to help with integrating that energy, that light activation that came through. Today, I also feel like the light activation there was another one coming through, and that is for the third eye chakra as well, or, the expansion of that consciousness to be able to ascend into higher planes, okay? All right, so what oracle deck do I want to work with to bring forward a message? Let's see. It feels almost like I'm just going to, at this point in time, you just got to go big or go home, right? So might as well. So I am going to be working with Art Through the Eyes of the Soul, which is interesting considering the third eye oracle by Cheryl Yambrick Rose. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and invite everybody into sacred space at this time and just ask you all to just close your eyes and take a nice deep breath, if you can, safely in the environment that you're in. Okay. Just take a nice deep breath. And just release that breath, allowing yourself to release all mental stress, all thoughts and all worry, bringing yourself into the present here and now. Taking another deep breath in. And again, releasing as you release any tension you are holding within your body, within your jaw, within your shoulders, within your back. Just releasing, relaxing. And on this last breath in, we're going to begin to drop our minds down into our heart center, really enabling us to be in that present moment, in the here and now. All right. So, what guidance is it that comes forward for the collective good for the week of March 29th, 2021? Oop. Oh my, we did get two. Aren't these big ones? All right. So Rosemaria also says that acupuncture, which is, yes, another form of Chinese medicine, which does focus again on the balancing of the energy within your body. So having acupressure, there are points that you can, not even just having a session, but there are points that you can hit that will cool the body. If you've noticed this for yourself, and you feel like, yes, you've been, right in alignment with everything that I've been talking about today, how you might want to bring some cooling energy into your body is you can also eat watermelon with some of the nice cool fruits and cool vegetables. Stay away from spicy foods. You can bring in, again, watermelon, cucumber were some of them that were listed. So, yeah, okay. Also, for skin, if you want to go with like natural, okay, so I didn't realize right away that me moisturizing with menthol and eucalyptus and mint were going to be an issue. I didn't realize. You think that that's helping, and you think the tingling you're feeling is actually helping, right? Nope, it's not. So I learned that the hard way. So anybody who might be having some issues there, you can actually use raw honey on your lips. It has natural antiseptic, natural antibiotic. You can also use organic coconut oil. So that as well. So make sure it's the raw organic. Is it raw, or I think it's called extra virgin or virgin. You might want to use that pure, the unrefined, on your lips. Also antiseptic, antibiotic. Same thing with aloe vera, so natural aloe vera plant, okay? So that has, within a very short amount of time of me realizing this, has actually done wonders, okay? All right. I'm going to go back and check the rest of the comments that I might have missed. Anybody just popping in, hello, welcome. You missed a whole lot. It'll be available on replay, but a lot of important information coming in regards to why we'll be doing this, regards to why we are doing the light language transmission today after the oracle part, all right? So sit tight for that. First card that came through was Sarah in Avalon, which is interesting because Sarah is believed to be the daughter of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And what Sarah's specific role here on Sarah's Ascended Master Sarah behind me here, one of my guides on this amazing journey, what Sarah's specific role here is meant to be bringing in, she represents the integration of the energies. She represents the epitome of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, coming, she is the product of the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine coming in union together, and she is that output. She is the creational energy of a union and what comes through. So she represents integration. And you heard me talking about why I was guided to do the light language transmission was because it's helping us to integrate this energy, right? So Ascended Master Sarah having that very powerful energy of alchemy and transmutation at the same time. She represents the birthing of the new age, the new energy on the planet. And the card says Sacred Journey Pilgrimage. Okay. So this is actually Glastonbury, which is believed to be by some. Some might have conflicting thoughts about that, and that's okay, you know, to each its own. But the ancient site of Avalon. So it's like, you know, considered one of the Holy Lands, which is like the new kind of like the New Jerusalem, if you will, as it's believed that Joseph of Arimathea and Mary Magdalene actually settled in Glastonbury, England, and established the first, their first teachings, the first church of what has become our understanding, Celtic Christian, although they did not refer to it that way, only the way back then, and that way was love. So, yes, so that's what she represents. And interesting, she's holding the holy staff or the holy rod within her hand, which is, it was, I should say, in Glastonbury at one point in time until it was sadly vandalized and destroyed. But it has the flowering, you know, represents the reflowering, the reblossoming of the holy thorn of the hawthorn blooms on it, which represents the birthing of, you know, that new life and, you know, all that was meant to come with them. So this card, to me, seeing it, especially with the strands of the DNA, just shows that we are absolutely beginning on or embarking upon a new journey, both individually in your own lives and collectively. And this is really enabling us to have this new start from there's this word again, higher. I don't like the word higher, and I'm so sorry that I'm going to use it because I just don't know another way to really explain what it is that I'm trying to say. It's like a higher vantage point. So starting from a new place. Think about not carrying with you any of the old, distorted, damaged DNA that has actually created, it's the inward that has created the external, the outward of what our reality has become, right? So when you're starting with activating your original 12 strands of DNA, when you are starting with regenerating your DNA, you are starting in a whole new way. This is both internally, this is both in your physical body, this is in your conscious, and this is in your physical reality as the inward reflects the outward, right? The card that came along with this, also Glastonbury goddess. So now I just want to say before I go into this, you know, many of you already know this because I talk about Glastonbury so much. I do actually do spiritual pilgrimages every year to Glastonbury. It is also believed to be the heart chakra of the earth. So, you know, as the earth has chakras just the way that we do, it is believed to be the heart chakra of the earth, but also the third eye chakra currently, as the third eye chakra does rotate and move around to different locations. It is currently the heart chakra and the third eye chakra. So it's like aligning mind and heart, or even like higher perspective within the heart and anchoring the two together, right? So Glastonbury goddess, and it says, accept the opportunity that is offered. Look at that. So very interesting. So standing in the doorway, you heard me talk about how it was shown that there were these 7 keys that were essential for reaching the 8th point of, which is creation manifestation, a higher octave, again, there we go with that word, higher octave of the, it's the future of the past, only in an ascended octave or aspect. So an ascended aspect of self. So this is what we are coming into. Interestingly, you have the male warrior standing in the doorway, right? So we've got our masculine energy here standing in the doorway. So then you've got the feminine energy, so our inner feminine, there holding up the bowl of the womb, if you will, for creation. So it's like having this opportunity to have the rebirth of both our masculine and feminine energy. But it feels more to me like the inner feminine helping the inner masculine along the way. So, and then bringing that integration in with them, which is harmonizing and the softening of our masculine. And remember how when I had that dream with the newborn baby, you know, even though there was, you know, I was having this issue with the baby constantly having diarrhea and I'm constantly having to change the diaper, I found myself actually just sitting with the baby, and I left the baby naked from the waist down. And I was like, you know what, whatever, we're just going to do what you got to do. You know, we're just going to do this thing. And in the meantime, I'm just going to keep you nice and happy. And I was just bouncing the baby and making the baby smile and laugh. So it's about, you know, helping bring that inner peace and healing into our masculine through recognition of, you know, you no longer have to be in that fight or flight. You no longer have to be ready for battle. You know, you can just accept this new opportunity of a new life restored, a rebirth in energy for all of us at this time. So this could translate literally into your individual lives with new opportunities for new opportunities to leave behind old patterns. You know, you might have suddenly some things coming up to the surface that are just ready to be released, in situations that you thought maybe you didn't want to deal with, or you thought were just long and gone and done. And maybe you're suddenly having conversations with people that you didn't think that you'd be having, or maybe weren't looking forward to having, but they bring up a whole lot of healing to the table and the ability. It's basically like your pass to ascend together, free of, you know, and maybe even if your paths go separate ways after that, you're still ascending and you're both basically freeing yourselves and freeing the other from these situations, right? Yes, Rosemaria said not judging, but assisting. Absolutely. Holding space, witnessing and nurturing, kind of like Angela's dream too. She saw the whole nurturing of the newborn baby, you know, through the breastfeeding. So there we go again with more of the connected and linked symbolism there. So there also could be scenarios playing out where, you know, something is just suddenly being put up in your, you know, put in your lap, and it's a new opportunity to do something maybe you didn't think you were ready for. Maybe you didn't even see this coming. Maybe it's something that's being left behind or falling away, and again, we're not ready for it. But again, recognize that you are on a sacred journey. This is your pilgrimage to your soul's awakening, through your soul's truth and coming more into alignment with the divinity of who you are. Okay, so again, accept the opportunities that come forward this week. Again, discernment is key, because some situations, you know, could be part of the releasing the fight or flight, you know, because there's going to be an issue. I do see, and I have had a conversation regarding, interestingly enough, one hand, the boundaries were being threatened. And so it was an opportunity for that person to come more into their truth and say, no, this is not acceptable. I'm not doing this. But then another opportunity where the boundaries were being threatened in a way that was providing an opportunity for them to expand and grow and not block themselves from growth and what was maybe possibly wanting to be established, you know? So there were two aspects of it there. So just be mindful of where are you establishing boundaries, and where are your boundaries faulty? Where could you release some boundaries that are more in alignment with fear and survival instincts and defense mechanism versus what is actually honoring you boundary-wise? You see what I'm saying? So the boundaries that need to be established, because that's what they honor yourself and your self-love and your self-growth and healing. But then maybe where you are asserting boundaries, that maybe is actually more to do with a fear and again, survival tactic. Okay. So again, you are on a journey to a whole new way, a whole new, that's what a pilgrimage is. It's, it's kind of journeying towards something where a lot of people will journey to sacred sites, and during these sacred sites, like what I do with Glastonbury, it is a journey of self-healing. It is a journey where once you arrive there, it's like you have already been working through a lot of the things that were coming up to be released. And then once you finally arrive, these sacred sites, they activate you, they heal you, and then they take you, especially with Glastonbury, it takes you and puts you on your path. It helps you to move into alignment with the path that you are now ready for. And so again, accepting those opportunities that come your way, whether they be through spirit, whether they be through your own ability, or whether you just see that window open up right in front of you. Accept the opportunity for healing, ascension, and growth. Okay? All right, everybody. So I hope that resonates with you, and I hope that you are able to use this to help yourselves along the way throughout the week. And so now I'm going to be going into a light transmission for all of us that is very much in assistance and in alignment with everything that I just said. But for those of you who just popped in and you missed the beginning part of this, which was all about us having recently had a massive upgrade, like a light upgrade that was basically breaking down our old, definitely has to do with connecting in with our root chakra, but it was a breaking down of our structure, of our stability, of what we've known that is no longer serving us, and it's facilitating our ascension into a higher timeline. There's that word again. Into an ascended timeline, okay? A timeline more in alignment with our truth and where we are meant to be going forward movement. And also with our third eye, we've also just started receiving another upgrade and activation, which is helping us to ascend into that higher perception, that higher timeline. And there we go. I can't stop saying the word. I'm so sorry, everybody, because it's not I hope you understand that it's not, I don't mean higher in a sense of better, because I don't like words like that, because it does really speak to like the outdated human, verbiage. And so, but I hope you understand what I mean. It's more ascended, rising into those higher planes of consciousness. That is where we can experience a complete new reality for ourselves, okay? And all of us as a collective, and for the planet as well. All right. So with that said, it could be triggering a lot of resistance. It could be triggering a lot of fight or flight behaviors and patterns, and that could make for a very difficult transition. So I was just guided to bring in light language just to kind of help to soothe and cool down a little bit of that aggressive energy that tends to be stimulated with root chakra purges, and to really bring in assisting with that integration process. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to have you all get nice and comfortable. If you do not wish to receive, then you do not have to. This is not going to violate your free will. This is for the highest and greatest good only. I work only with my divine aspect of God, my God self, if you will. I also work only with the Holy Mother, the Holy Father energy source. Okay. If you are open to receive, all you have to do is say, I am open to receive. You can say that out loud, you can say it internally, or you can even post it in the comments, whatever works for you, okay? So I usually tend to bring in vocal toning first. And the reason that I do this, and I know it doesn't sound the greatest with this microphone. I've been having a problem with my other microphones, so I didn't even bother anymore. But I know it tends to kind of come in a little bit distorted here sometimes, but I hope it comes through as good as what we can get and what we need. But the reason I noticed that the vocal toning comes in first before the light language is because it acts as like the container it acts as like it kind of like paves the way. I almost see it like coming down, like creating the channel and then sending the light code down into the container or into the channel, if that makes sense. At the same time, it kind of prepares our energy body, our light body, our chakras. It kind of attunes them, if that makes sense, or tunes them like an instrument is how I see it. So that's why I do that first, and then it often, triggers right into the light language, okay? So I'm just going to ask you all to close your eyes. I will bring in some chimes. And just nice light breathing. Just get yourself into a nice, open, and receptive space. Here we go again. Nubis might need some cucumber. He's got lots of aggression with his territory. Oh my goodness, okay. My cheeks are on fire. I don't know if you can see it, but literally I am on fire, everyone. We need to bring in that cool light, okay? Irat urashamyanot urat ayat erk, irat ishamanyat erat io ayat vahino ayat eshimanyat mahala ira iroto sharyat mahirot urat I amanyot eyat erot visharat irat makyat et iro, marotu yarat maknyanat eshiman. Verat yunot erat erot akinariat ashimanat erat. Vurariot uriat enyat enat eshimanyot Veradinat yuroniat et ishariat Baraturia maritishanyat uriat Vurat shariat et erat Hushat erat imaniat at erat Rat ishariat at iat at erat Vurot unyariat shit ariat et erat anyat Just take a nice deep breath in. Just relax. Irat emat irat ishat irat Vurat unyarat ukiat erian yutur Mbrot unyat eshit Vihirat Yurut imanyat irat ishar Vaharat irat Mahishariat anyat erat Vurutur ayat at Vishar Vashariat ariat at ariat murotur Rotui at ek irash Rut imat Marat yat eshim. Sending only in divine love, blessings, and light. And so it is. can open your eyes. Wow, I see a lot of blue. Does that signify the cooling now? All right, everyone. So just relax, nice deep breaths in. Make sure that you keep your energy nice and grounded at all times. Practicing the presence, practicing being in that present moment of here and now. Keeping your roots nice and anchored, spending time in nature throughout this process. These upgrades, again, obviously, are incredibly intense, okay? So also lots of water and rest when necessary, okay? Julie says she saw lots of blue and green. Wow, that's wonderful. Green being that, heart healing, as well as I always see the emerald green with the presence of the Divine Mother, as well as the earth itself and that earth healing and restorative energy. So that's interesting considering the root chakra and connecting into new earth. And then for me, the blue is always about aligning with divine will. Also, the purification comes with the blue ray, the blue flame. Also, divine protection comes in with the blue. And divine truth. So, let's see what I missed here. Just going to check some of these before I head out. You're welcome, Dawn. Welcome, Boguslava. I hope you're well. You can catch everything back from the beginning at the replay there. You're welcome, Laura. Cindy says, I saw a lot of red swirling around at first, and then it morphed into much lighter swirls of white and light orange. That's fascinating because, like I said with I don't know if you were here and you caught the part where I talked about, I think you were here, the part with my Reiki student. She immediately during her attunement, she saw the red, but it wasn't bright red. It was like she said, kind of like muddy red, if that makes sense. And then that's when the anxiety was triggered within her. So it was that fight or flight response. And then suddenly the purity of that white light coming in and just kind of like calming everything down. So very interesting, very interesting. And a wonderful brother of mine, some of you have seen me share his work, Rob Comer, on his page, Lumatronic Healing. He actually shared a really amazing post today. Neither one of us had spoken beforehand, and he talked a lot about the basically kind of like the rebirthing or the awakening of the Grail King energy regarding the masculine energy, and the upgrades or activations that's occurring at the same time, and specifically regarding the color of red changing. And he talked about, he brought it forward or said it's coming forward with the ruby ray. So very interesting. So check out his page and that post if you feel interested in doing so. Karen says she's feeling it in her throat, thymus, and heart. Wow, amazing. Thank you. All right. Well, then, thank you, everyone. If you're catching this back on replay, feel free to share in the comments. I always go back and check the comments later on, and for anything that I may have missed. For all of you who tuned in live, thank you so much for being present with me and here this moon day. And everybody catching back on the replay, thank you as well so much. Sending love, light, and healing to all of you. And may you have an incredible journey this week. Cindy, his name is Rob Comer. Okay. I'll actually share the post on Magical Me just so that you can all see it, just in case you can't spell his last name or something. Okay. All right. Much love, everybody. Thank you for being here with me.